Hi, friends. I want to talk today about a lot of letters. There's so much out there when people talk about the cloud and cloud computing. Typically, terms that you see are SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. Effectively, those all stand for something. And they stand for lots and lots and lots of different setups that different people configure, usually custom for an environment. But let's start out with what PaaS stands for. That's physical or hardware as a service. Hardware as a service it's a complicated term for your leasing something. Really, that's really kind of what it boils down to, at least to grasp it. You're paying a monthly service for hardware that isn't yours. That's it. It's like leasing a car. You got to give it back when you're done. Got to give it back when you're done paying for it. In total, you're paying more because they're servicing it, they're warrantying it, they're putting more into it than you're getting out of it because they want it for the long term. That's really all that comes down to. And then you have IaaS, which is infrastructure as a service. Infrastructure could be a firewall router. It could be networking. It could be a switch. It could be Wi-Fi access points. It could be VPN concentrators. It might be infrastructure as a service that you're paying for remote desktop. You're paying for RDP web. You're paying for virtual desktops, virtual workstations. Microsoft virtual workstations is a big product that people are talking about nowadays. All of those are pieces of infrastructure as a service. They're not software as a service, even though you're using Windows 10 or you're using systems and software on hardware or on routers or managed equipment. That's not software as a service. That's something else. So you've got hardware as a service, and then you've got infrastructure as a service, which you can be getting both. You can get hardware as a service and infrastructure as a service. And then you have whatever most people are commonly using, software as a service. So software as a service is the traditional cloud computing. Each of these have different components, but when you go to a provider and say, I want what you're giving me, I want your software in particular, not I can stand up my own server, whether it's Windows or Linux or some other flavor, Red Hat, Debian, pick your poison when it comes to Linux. You have lots and lots and lots of options. If somebody's just handing you hardware that you can install on or spin a virtual machine of your choice up on, that's not software as a service. Software as a service is more, I want your particular product that you're charging me extra for. Maybe that's dental software. Maybe that's legal software. Maybe that's recording software. So Adobe is software as a service. And because it has a cloud component that stores files and data. Office 365 in some ways is software as a service. It's also infrastructure as a service in some ways, and it's also hardware as a service in some ways when you get down into licensing and some other things. But for the most part, those products are software as a service. You're getting the thing from them that you can't get from anyone else. And as you make those cloud decisions, you need to realize that they're accepting costs into their equation that allow them to make money. If you go to hardware as a service and you say, I want you to provide managed services to me, and I want you to provide 10 desktops and 10 laptops and one server, and I want it all bundled up into one monthly price. That's hardware as a service. That's you purchasing resold hardware from the vendor. The vendor is supplying the support. The vendor is supplying the costs. The vendor is accepting liability. If something breaks, they will manage the phone call. They will manage the engagement with the vendor, typical with Dell, HP, Lenovo. They're part of the equation, and you're paying them to be part of the equation, and that's where that profit comes in. They're making a profit calculation that it's over 20%, 30% on the hardware, and when there needs to be a support call involved, they're part of that. They're spending the time and the resources, and that's why they might make you buy warranties, or you can only buy equipment or only rent equipment from them that has a full warranty on it. Some organizations have a dollar buyout lease on hardware as a service. Printing companies are a great example of hardware and infrastructure and software as a service. You're renting all of them. You're renting their custom hardware, whether it's Xerox or HP or one of the dozen, Ricoh, Kyocera. I mean, there's a lot of different printer vendors. You're getting their hardware, you're getting their particular infrastructure. Maybe that printer offers Wi-Fi connectivity for you to print to it from tablets or laptops or cell phones. And you're getting their particular software package. Maybe you want enhanced printing. Maybe you want collated printing. Maybe you want extra bells and whistles that come along for the ride. You have to use their software usually. So there's this very weird blending that comes along with some of these products that people buy. Any one of these products can be a couple $100, a couple $1,000, hundreds of thousands of dollars, depending on the size of your organization. But they're calculating that this is where they make a profit by providing this service to you that you want, that you can maybe cancel at any time, maybe not cancel at any time. And understanding where the security risks for these. I mean, this is a cybersecurity training class in some ways, training videos. Why are you purchasing those products, regardless of what letter AAS you're buying? What access do they have to your environment? Are people installing printers or hardware or servers or network equipment that just have some passwords stuck on it? How about no passwords? The number of printers, multifunction printers that we've seen brought into environments that are managed by a vendor, right? The vendor itself is managing them. They're paying a lot, and there's no passwords on the equipment. Anybody could just walk in and connect to that printer and just be like, boop, right in, or it's the default password. You can Google default password printer model, and it tells you what it is. Same with infrastructure as a service. Is the back-end Wi-Fi wide open, meaning I can connect to the controller and I can reconfigure it however I want? How about the switches? Can I connect the switches? When you're renting something from someone who is required to install it, the liability could still be on you, even though they misconfigure it. Something happens with your hardware as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service. It doesn't matter what product we're talking about. You can be using Dentrix, which is a very popular dental piece of software, but your infrastructure is still your liability. Your hardware is still your liability. Maybe you're renting, you have an IT company that you're getting the hardware from for your agreement. You've got infrastructure also being rented from the IT company, and then you buy Dentrix, which is a software product that can't be provided to you by your IT company. You're paying all of these costs, but the liabilities are all still yours. You can then go sue Dentrix, a Henry Schein company, if they don't fulfill whatever requirements they should be fulfilling by law. You can sue your IT company if they do something wrong or they don't provide the adequate security or didn't do what they promised. But ultimately, all of those securities, the risks and the liabilities fall onto you and your organization. So regardless of what you're picking, hardware as a service or you buy it, infrastructure as a service or you buy it, and software as a service or you buy it and then host it on premises. Because remember, software as a service is typically a cloud product. Regardless of what you're doing, they still need to be part of your cybersecurity plan. Even if these other people are managing the cybersecurity of these products for you in a contract, it's still your liability ultimately. If you get sued or your customers come at you, or you have a financial or a federal requirement or a state requirement to do something with your hardware as a service, infrastructure as a service, software as a service, whatever you pick as a service, the liability is still yours. You still need to put proper controls and systems in place that secure that infrastructure. Sure, the IT company who's providing this to you might be on the hook to do it via a contract with you, but what if they just go, oh, we're closed, right? LLC is shut down, or the entity Inc. is shut down, or the company is shut down, whatever their legal entity is. They're shut down, and there's no one for you to go after. Now all of the hook is yours, and then a large entity has their own legal department that you're going to be suing for years and years. So you still need to have, even if you're using those cloud products or infrastructure service or hardware service products, you still need to manage them in some way, shape, or form so that you can feel comfortable with the liability that's involved. And that's what these courses are all about. Thanks a lot. Hopefully this was educational and helpful for you. Talk to you soon.